Hi, I'm Sheryl, and welcome to this quiet, creative space I've built just for you. Today we're exploring a beautiful healing drawing practice called Neurographica. It's a gentle method for releasing emotions, calming the nervous system, and connecting with yourself in an honest, nonverbal way. You don't need to be an artist, you just need to show up. For materials, you're going to need a piece of paper. I like to use a nice watercolor paper just because it absorbs the water, and watercolor I feel helps a lot with the expressiveness of this process. You can use an ink pigment, you can use a cake palette, you can use acrylic inks. Make sure that you do use some, for your markers, I do suggest the Sharpie fine point markers. They always work the best. And you can also use watercolor markers or just water-based markers because they work just as well for watercolor. Now you're going to set your intention. Take a moment and bring your intention inward. Think of something you'd like to shift, a feeling, a thought, a challenge you've been carrying. Don't force it, just invite it gently into your awareness. Hold that intention softly, like a seed you're about to plant. When you are ready, we will begin by drawing smooth flowing lines across your paper. There's no need to think about it. And there's no need to be perfect. Just let your hand guide you. Let your lines curve and cross. Let them smoothly flow across your page like rivers, roots, or neurons. There are no mistakes, just motion. Let your hand be guided by feeling. You don't need to plan anything. Just allow your subconscious to speak in curves. Once you're done, thicken all the areas and create nice shapes. When your shapes are ready, you are ready to begin adding your color. With color, it's emotion made visible. Ask what your body wants to say. Let that answer arrive in pigment and pulse. And now I'm just going to add some water. And add a little bit of watercolor pigment I have in my tray. But I'm not sure. It's okay to experiment. The markers are always really wonderful to use, but not so much on wet paper. They're better to put on dry paper and then to wet to help blend. So, that's what experimenting's for. The important part here is that you're not just planning of like this perfect image. You are just coloring what feels right to you at that moment. these watercolor markers, or these watercolor pens, I should say, they are really cool. I have to admit that I enjoy using them. You can get some that you can add pigment to as well. These ones I got that already have pigment in them are pretty nice, so you just slightly squeeze and more of the watercolor comes out. Again, you're just flowing with what's coming out. I have no plan of action. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just following what my instincts guide me to do. Right here? Oh yeah. I was using a lot of water and I was right by a spot where there was a bunch of wet water. Well, that's part of the watercolor process, right? So just be sure, if you don't want them to blend together, that you make sure it dries in between. Alright, so now that I've got all my colors on, I'm going to go in and I'm just going to start adding some details. This is optional, but I feel like you can really just let loose and get yourself into some little patterns or anything that you want. It just kind of helps. It helps in kind of like a meditative way. One of my favorite things to do in a lot of my artwork is spirals. I've always loved spirals, and their significance is really cool too. So add some spirals and a couple other details. I'm going to use my white pen to add some in the darker areas. The pen is very subtle, but I really enjoy the effect it creates, so I just enjoy doing it. There you go, you see? Creates a really cool, subtle effect. So I just wanted to add a little bit more color tones in some of this. I'm just doing what I feel is right on the piece. You'll know when you're done when you just feel like you're done. As I'm painting this, I start to see other shapes and stuff emerge. So I thought it would be cool to make a couple of the spots into like a little illustrative little area. In this one, I just felt like it looked like a sunset, and I just could see a mountain in there. And I definitely love sunsets and mountains. So that's bubble is possibly representing where I like to be and maybe where my soul's calling me. And again, you can add as much detail as you want. It's all about just letting that energy flow. Sometimes whenever you go over the paper, the watercolor paper with the markers, and if your paper is a little bit wet, your marker will stop working, but you can usually get it to start working again. But that's also why I always keep a spare. And here I'm just using a fine tip little paintbrush and some darker color. Just add some shapes in my little mountain I decided to create over here. When you feel like you've complete, pause and take a moment to simply look at what you've made. What changed inside of you, what stands out, and what draws your focus. You can reflect that in a journal if you would like. Thank you for walking this path with me. Neurographica is a gentle, ongoing practice. You can return to it anytime you feel the need to process, release, or reconnect. Until next time.